Welcome, Libra. This is Regina from Pacific Tarot, getting ready to do your full moon in Scorpio reading, active on the 2nd of May. Also, Uranus and Venus have gone into Gemini as I'm reading a few days ahead of the full moon. So this is really about your values, opportunities to communicate, to connect, to converse. You are relationship oriented in terms of not only human relationships, but in terms of exchanges. Fairness, equity are always your byword. You are a mediator, so you are familiar and comfortable looking at two entities and looking at ways to negotiate an equitable exchange, understanding that that is a function of constant communication or communication as needed. This is a time when communication is the big neon sign here. There are obviously many new ways to communicate with ever broader swaths of population and across time zones in completely new and previously unknown ways. This is something you can harness in your behalf and really talks about a greater opening to our intuition. So I pulled from the Energy Archaeology deck the Sovereignty card for you, and I'll read a little bit of that. Sovereignty knows that self, not selfishness, is its set point. The sovereign self is not individual or self-serving. It does not navel gaze. It looks inward for alignment first, but then looks outward for how to support, receive, give, and move in relationship with that alignment. The deeper you trust your sovereign energy and alignment, the more you understand your responsibility to others and shift grids, heal timelines, and create immeasurable change in this world. So that is what I do feel many of you are all about. You're about creating immeasurable change in this world as part of a longer process of deeply understanding your skill set, who you are, what your gifts are, and negotiating their implementation and application into the broader social world. The Mirror card from the Glyph deck is interesting. Again, this is a natural condition, a fairly automatic or temperamentally aligned condition for you, Libra. You see yourself reflected in others. You apply your values to situations based on the experience you've had and know. And that requires a way of putting yourself aside when appropriate so that you can be objective, but it also means sometimes looking more deeply than simply the surface in order to retrieve information that may be relevant to your negotiation or mediation of a situation. So in ancient Egypt, mirrors were believed to possess magical properties, offering glimpses into the divine and reflecting the soul's purity. In Greek mythology, to uncover hidden truths and beauty, these mirrors were considered portals. In Chinese folklore, mirrors were seen as a tool to again reflect the true nature of reality, not just the physical appearance, but inner characters and intentions. And in medieval Europe, mirrors were found in religious contexts to again symbolize clarity of vision and divine insight. So I think this is really almost like a psychic snapshot of where you are, because in the context of the full moon in Scorpio, we're being asked to look at the whole truth of who we are or the situations we're in, not just what is displaying or presenting in the moment, but what is underneath. And looking at that requires the same vision, the same intensity of insight into our own characters and our own lives. This is being willing to show up as a whole person, as a human person, flawed, complex, messy, and that brings your objectivity to bear on situations that are fraught, not to render a simplified solution, but to recognize the complexity that exists and the way equity, not equality, can be applied as a more flexible standard. In the present, the World card is about you closing out uh, a, a journey, a path, a particular goal or achievement. You've accomplished something and you are being recognized for that accomplishment. But this accomplishment, as you know, and the road that has led you there has been a preparation for something larger. Whatever it is you're accomplishing, this is putting you out in front of more people than your particular talent or skill would ordinarily place you, so that you are in a position to impact, interact with people at multiple levels in a variety of capacities that is greatly amplified from what you have ordinarily done as an expression of your talent or skill. And this can apply, of course, to your employment or professional practice as well. In the past, the Six of Staffs is, these cards are so reflecting your innate character. The Six of Staffs is about having received smaller victories along the way. The path that you are currently have been on has been successive. You've had to push through and do the work as part of a team so that your effort is recognized as contributing in a major way to the success of that team, that project. You have gotten the attention of those you work with, and that's what you value. It is not so much in the past the esteem or recognition you got from the community or public at large, but it is the way you were held in regard by your collaborators or co-workers. You are now using that process of being a team member, working fully in the capacity of implementing your responsibilities to move to this place where you are launching yourself into a much larger, more public, more visible arena. In the future, the Eight of Jades, love this card here. This is showing me that you are completely devoted and in love with what you do. Whatever it is you're working at consumes you completely in the best way. You live, drink, and eat this project, its success, its many parts. You are sustaining a level of improvement in your ability to negotiate, in your improvement of your skills, as leading to higher and higher levels of excellence. You're engaging with other experts like yourself in every arena of the project. And this constant, diligent work ethic that is persevering, that is dutiful, that is devoted. And by devotion, I'm talking about this bringing forth your self-love, your self-respect, how working together with others, but also working at something you care about that gives your life significance is raising your chemical vibration to a very high level. And you are undoubtedly experiencing, despite the exhaustion, you probably are a little bit overworking, but despite that, you're experiencing a kind of dopamine high. This is the anticipation of how beautiful what you're creating is already, how abundant you already are, which leads, of course, to greater excellence and success. If this is resonating with you so far, Libra, please like this video, share it with others, and subscribe to my channel, Pacific Tarot. I really appreciate you being here with me now and all the support that you lend to me. And so for the Six of Staffs, a couple of cards for clarification. We have the Death card and the Strength card. And for the World, 2 cards. For the World, we have the Page of Cups and the High Priestess. And what is underneath? We have the King of Pentacles and one more for the Six of Jades, the Six of Pentacles. We have Justice. Lovely. Okay. Indeed, this is a really, really critical moment, not simply for you and your project, but for the universe, for the globe. What you're doing has a lot of significance for a larger community or collective that you may be consciously working with, and you may in many ways have no idea of how broad the implications of your work can be for others. So in the past, the Six of Staffs is clarified by death and strength. Interesting. Not only the World, but the Death card speaks about surrendering to an old way of doing things. In many ways, I feel like your advanced capacity to work with others as part of a team is your deeper understanding of its benefits in working this way without a boss, without a hierarchy, without being dictated to or dominated by an authority figure is a preference for you now. As good as you became at being a team member, you understand that principle of working as part of a collaboration, and that this style of working has ongoing application for the kind of achievement you are now approaching in your life. So whether you are the literal boss, whether this project or enterprise is yours or not, you understand that you succeed most successfully or most in the best way by including the voices of others, by giving others a stake in what you do, by helping them to understand that just as you have your strengths, your skills, your gifts, so do they. And working from the place of gift or strength is what elevates the participation of everyone, so they feel they have a stake in its success. And this is, I believe, something you've learned as part of your natural style of mediation, of working with others, of determining what makes for equitable exchanges, ones that benefit both parties, and how to negotiate that as a form of communication, one in which the door is always open for new ideas, for adjustments, for critique that is constructive. In the present, the Page of Cups and the High Priestess clarify the World card. There's such an exponential growth of your trusting in your intuition. I see you as being a naturally imaginative, creative person who always seeks harmony, always seeks the light touch, seeking grace, elegance, simplicity. But I see you now really trusting in your intuition, not strictly detaching yourself from your feelings, but understanding that that can get you fair to a good place in many instances, but that you have additional powers of intuition that sensitize you to the needs of others and the ways that you can step back and allow others to support themselves, to answer their own questions, to find their own ways. It's not that you don't have a response, an advisement, a wisdom that would be helpful, but your greatest form of wisdom now is to allow others the grace and the space, using you as a sounding board if necessary, you setting out parameters, but you not giving an answer, allowing individuals to find their own pathway through a situation that you can support. You'll know if that is on target or not, and if you need to intervene in some way. But your wisdom is telling you, no, you're working with other people who, like you, want to be imaginative, want to activate their dreams, are aligned with you in principle around what the world needs. So this is really a kind of advanced wisdom, and it may refer for some of you to a specific relationship, to your relationship with a child, a parent, or a family member. It may be the way that you teach or train others in a particular kind of skill, craft, or talent. In the future, the King of Pentacles and the Justice card, clarifying the Eight of Jades, or the Eight of Pentacles. You are a master at your skill or your craft. Something you do, you are very competent at. You can and do teach what you know well through your efforts, through your project, through your work. And you always have a mind to how to find the balance in that effort, so that as you have found love and devotion, exhilaration, enchantment, uh, connection with others, the divine, through your work, through the very effort of some kind of manual manipulation, whatever that skill is that you have, you understand that it is always creative and it always revolves around a series of choices. Is the service you do, is the effort you make serving others as well? Are you being served through your accomplishments? Or is this something that can impact the long-term health, vitality of an environment, an organization, a relationship? Those are the principles and the models that you value. You are always looking for ways to liberate those who have experienced some kind of victimhood. And your practice models precisely that. The way in which you have found something that you love and that loves you back. And that you understand that working with this is the growth, is the change the world needs to see. I'm going to finish up this reading, Libra, with a flower oracle, and hope you've gained some insight. The red rose, the key word is courage. Be brave, be strong, and believe. Thank you so much, Libra, for this beautiful reading. Until next time, namaste.